All right, welcome back. This is Coach Joe, host of the Joe Bala Fitness Podcast. I have my next guest here, special guest. He goes by Jay Nukes. His official name is Justin Nukum. I met Justin originally. I don't know if he even remembers this, but the first time I met him was at a DECA Fit in NorCal, Sacramento. Probably, let's see, when I entered the hybrid space, it was like 2021. So I think that was 2022 DecaFit NorCal. So I remember him coming in there with his Hardkour Performance squad, a huge squad, and I was like, man, that guy looks like he knows what he's doing. And I think I met some of your athletes at the same time. And then I don't know if he remembers this, but you asked me to take a photo. Could you take a photo of our group? I said, absolutely. We got your shot of your entire group, and yeah, it was very very cool to meet you at the time. And the second time I officially met you in person um, was at, let me think, Deca Strong, LA Idea Convention. I don't know if you remembers that either, but we had a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
Deca headquarter people like Yancey Culp and Robin, and then a bunch of local affiliates, athletes, and I happened to be part of the Deca Roadshow team at the time, so I brought my whole van and had some equipment on the course there. So yeah, so Justin and I have been kind of communicating via social, and I feel like there is something that might happen in 2026 if we can make it happen where we collaborate on something. So definitely excited to have him on. Justin is a personal trainer, coach, um, and yeah, just looking up your whole bio, it's vast. So very very excited to have you on here. Justin, say hello to the audience.
How's it going, everybody? Joe, that was a great introduction. I appreciate you. Yeah, I didn't even remember that was like our first time actually meeting in person, so that's a cool fun fact that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I honestly believe this is my feeling. Like anytime you come across people in life, it happens for a reason, and so doesn't it and it and when that happens, there's something that's going to happen between you and that person at some point, and it doesn't matter if it's today, tomorrow, or sometime in the future. Something's going to happen. That's the universe at work, right? And so I wholeheartedly believe that. So yeah, I appreciate you being on here. Thank you, Justin. So Justin, I wanted to start off
hmm
your interview here. I do this with everyone I interview. Since you're a fellow coach and trainer, um, you can probably talk about that background, but maybe just kind of expand within a minute, like what is your 1 minute elevator pitch? Tell my audience about yourself. Ready? And I'm gonna count you down, okay? Just like a workout.
Okay. Yeah,
Ready?
for
All
sure.
right, three, two, and one. Go.
Hey guys, I'm Justin Nukum, born and raised in Guam. Been a personal trainer for 11 years now. Have my own personal training business here in Orange County called Hardkour Performance. We originally started off training for Spartan races, obstacle course races. Now we're diving into like trail running, trail races, and into the hybrid space. So, been doing that. I collaborate with a lot of local businesses, a lot of coaches to build community. So that's why you could see me in a lot of places, throughout the year. So people will always say like, we see you everywhere doing all these type of events. I'm just really involved or try to be involved with as many, fitness areas, fitness events, fitness people. So that's what I'm all about. I just love collaborating. I don't think it's competition. I think I just love to collaborate with people. So I've been doing that for 11 years now. It's my full-time gig, and I love it. I love being in the fitness space, helping people out, changing their lifestyle. Hopefully that was a minute.
Absolutely love that. Yeah. Yeah, that was roughly like let's say 59 seconds. So um that's awesome. I can appreciate that. Yeah, so anyone that's been following, a journey of a coach, a trainer, we all start somewhere, right? And
hmm
usually it requires getting some kind of certification. some kind of education. And I know in communicating with you at that Deca Strong event at DiaFit, I think you were about to jump into the course that day, and you did a Deca Strong with a ruck on you. So ruck, I had a
Yeah.
couple guests on recently, and I was like, oh man, he's gonna go with the ruck, and I was like, damn, that's beast, right? So I was like thinking to
Yeah.
myself, at some point I'll probably try the ruck. It's been, I don't remember what year that was now. I think 2023. It's been 2 years, and then I don't know if you know who Mark Jones is. He is well known in the Spartan
I don't think I did.
community. OCR. He is part of the DECA team. Um, he's
Okay.
well known for rucking. And then I also
Okay.
know this other guy named Bryce Johnson, who's also a guest on my podcast. He is
Yeah.
so recently Mark Jones did a competition, or sorry, set a Guinness World Record um to ruck with, I forgot how much weight it was. It's either 40 pound, I think it was 40-pound ruck, 24 hours, as much distance as possible, I think is what it was. But that's another level as far as rucking goes. But could you share what you felt
Yeah.
when you did Deca Strong with a ruck, in that space? Like, what does that feel like for an athlete if they were going to try it?
How's that feel like? Um, it's just extra weight that's weighing on your shoulders, really. You're pacing differently, you're strategizing the course differently. And then you're just trying to, catch a breath, trying to, recover wherever you can in like whatever stations, that might give you a little bit of a breather. But yeah, I think the ruck's just like a different ball game. I see people doing, endurance races, trail races, high rocks, when they had that division, DecaFit, still has it. So it's a different strategy, than just going all out at a Deca Strong. You're trying to not get hurt and save your knees and whatever else. So I think it's just a different style of pacing.
Okay, so that's key. Pacing is a word that a lot of people tend to not, especially new athletes, where they just go, 100% out the gate and then realize, oh shit, I still have like 9 stations or zones left, right? So that's a key
Yeah.
word. So I love that takeaway. And so I know you do CrossFit as well, right? So do you coach
Hmm.
at a specific CrossFit box? And then what kind of or
Yes.
what
So I
schedule are you on if people wanted to kind of take a class with you?
Yeah, so I coach at CrossFit Surf City in Huntington Beach. So I coach their CrossFit classes Monday and Wednesday mornings. And then I do a hybrid style class. So that was my own like hardcore performance classes on Monday and Wednesday nights over there. So it was a great partnership early on when I was personal training. I met the owner, Brandon, and then we kind of just worked out this deal where, you know, I'm able to coach some of his classes. I'm able to bring my clients in. And then, yeah, we just had this like, synergy for, oh man, maybe 4 or 5 years now. So we've been able to cross promote, do events together, and kind of introduce that hybrid space into CrossFit, early on before even Deca and all that was really popular. And then I'm able to dive into the CrossFit space as well.
Love that. That's cool. So yeah, people that are listening and watching, definitely check out Justin at CrossFit Surf City, right? Um, and I know
Yeah,
just
Surf City.
uh reaching just following your bio or reading through your bio on your website. Obstacle course racing is what you started Hardkour Performance. That was the focus, right? Would you say today is more hybrid focus? And
Correct.
if yes, like we kind of communicated this via social or DM. Now you're more into high rocks and digging into Deadly Dozen, which is something I'm like I've been eyeballing, and I have yet to meet someone that's actually done it. So I definitely
Hmm.
want to dig into that. So what's the current status with hardcore performance? Like anyone that wants to jump onto your team or train with you, like what's the focus to these days?
Yeah, so now, so correct. Like we first started off specializing in obstacle course racing. Um, I was looking for, top athletes to sponsor, to work with, to train with and coach. And then, as Spartan slowly declined over the years in terms of, like with politically, like, the payouts with the athlete, like the elites and, all that. Then we started switching gears, to strictly just trail races. Because a lot of my clients are falling love to run outdoors. That I think that was a big part of why we love Spartan so much. And then, the hybrid fitness racing started blowing up, started trickling into the space, and they were drawing, obstacle course racers to the space. So we dabbled into it, when it first came in, like during those COVID years. I think we were one of the few to try out High Rocks in Pasadena. I forget what year that was. I think like 2021. And then, yeah, I think from there we just knew that this is going to be like that new thing. It was something approachable. I think people from the running community, the CrossFit community, the OCR community would like. I think it was a nice middle ground for all of us. So now I'm coaching and training hardcore performance athletes in terms of whatever they are trying to dabble into. So I have people who are trying to go into the longer distance races, whether that's trail or road. I have people, have a good chunk of them are doing, the hybrid fitness racing, Decas, High Rocks, Deadly Dozen. I think that's majority of my clientele base right now. And then I have a few, trying to do CrossFit, trying to do local CrossFit comps, Wadapalooza, battlegrounds, things like that, painkiller. So kind of a little bit everywhere, but it's not like a specialized, like only OCR now. So we're kind of like dabbling into uh, more spaces.
So so you would say hardcore performance is now more a true hybrid kind of performance training, right? So
Yeah.
which makes a lot of sense, because you some of your athletes do the longer distance trail runs, right? And um
Hmm.
I've seen, I don't know if you saw this post recently. There was an athlete, I think he's a coach, trainer, athlete, similar to you and I, and he did a 500-pound deadlift with a 5-minute mile. I don't know if you saw it. It kind of went, um,
I saw that.
it
I
kind
saw
of,
that.
yeah, you saw that? So I think about like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I'm in, so I'm like, I'm thinking about your background, my background, and anyone that's very similar. To deadlift 500 pounds is one thing, but to also run that fast and that distance, you know, concurrently, or not concurrently, but it was like, I guess sequential, right? So he did the deadlift and then he took off.
yeah,
Um, that's like a true hybrid athlete, I would say, because you have to have good strength, good power, good stability, and then your endurance, your conditioning, like all the above just has to be like you have to kind of have all the level. Like if you think of I don't know, like in the music industry, they up the knobs, right? The on the board,
yep,
I don't even know what that thing is called, but that board, right, where they're adjusting things, everything is just like maxed out.
yep,
So if you were to
yeah.
assess your state right now of your fitness, where do you feel you're at right now, with strength, with your conditioning, with your endurance?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I work with Hybrid House. So Timmy Brand is the owner, and they have another coach who does their own like VO2 max athlete or archetype. style test, kind of like a combine football or sports, combine. So we just did that test, and um, so overall, I'm like a hybrid kind of like across the board, you know, could do it. But right now, I'm focused on the long distance, so I feel like my strength has declined. So anything, more than 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours, I feel like that's when I'm like starting to to get going. So yeah, I think more on the endurance side currently, but I like to train in seasons. So right now I'm trying to crank out the 50-mile, 100K runs, and then I'll focus back, to doing CrossFit, doing high rocks, doing the hybrid style training again, incorporating more strength workouts, more, hit CrossFit style workouts. But right now I'm just focusing on running.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned seasons, like training in seasons. A lot of people think, oh shit, I have to train everything all at once, right? But they don't realize your
Hmm.
fitness is your fitness, right? And your focus is your focus. So it's okay to, like you say, train in seasons. Um, and it's
Yeah.
very, very important to think about like the time that you spend on your feet, like when you run that amount of distance, that's going to build your endurance, your engine, your capacity to do more work, and that's going to carry over into when you go back to hybrid, right? Um, and so people, as they're
Yeah.
entering this hybrid space, is gonna, it's relatively new. Spartan's been a while around, was it since 2012? CrossFit, when did CrossFit enter the space or get popular was around, was it 20 or
Yeah.
2000? What was the year that CrossFit launched? I think.
Probably a little before that.
Um, yeah, so 2000. I don't remember the date now, but the point being, you know,
Yeah,
people
not
go
sure.
through these stages, go through these seasons, and we can get really strong and move a big amount of weight overhead. You can, and then develop that as part of your arsenal, right? And then apply that into the next
Hmm.
thing you focus on in your next season. And so people that are interested in getting into hybrid, style training or hybrid fitness, this is why we train in this way, because you have to progressively build up in stages, right? And for me being
Yeah.
not a natural runner, I don't know if you are a natural runner, if it took some time to get there. Would you
No.
say, were you so so
I was
like
not a
I'll
natural
share
runner.
this. Okay. So yeah, so that's something that we have in common. So I actually am not I'm not good at very, very long distances, I would say, but I got better over time. Like digging into when I
Okay.
did Spartan race quite a bit, I dug into Spartan Beast one too many times and realized, oh shit, I gotta work on this engine, right? Because I was looking at my heart rate. It's like, why am I
Yeah.
redlining on this beast? I've been out here for 4 hours now, so um it's not healthy long term. So that's why I had to realize, oh, I got to work on the lower intensity stuff. So, with that said, when you're training
Mm.
for these 100K, you said 100 kilometers, what kind of training are
Yeah.
you doing with respect to your cardiovascular, cardiorespiratory training? Like, how does that look like on a day to day or week to week basis?
Yeah. So right now I'm trying to just build my mileage, my weekly mileage, trying to have like a one solid long run towards the weekend, and then trying to run every other day, as much as I can, like with schedule permitting. But I definitely try to my warm ups are runs, so I'm just trying to stack miles, cool downs also. So I host the High Rocks Run Club Tuesday nights, so that's already kind of integrated into my training. So speed work on Tuesdays, try to do hills or some type of like sprint, hard effort on Thursdays, and then a long run, on the weekend, however that is, either by time or by miles. And then I'll try to squeeze in like kind of the easy miles throughout. But I'll still do hybrid style training. I'll do a CrossFit class. I'll do a strength class. So I think it's all beneficial. I think it's just being strategic, trying to, listen to your body, like right now, I have a long run planned, because the schedule for this weekend is, different, but my legs are kind of wrecked, from Monday, Tuesday, squats and speed work. So I'm trying to, trying to recalibrate, like, okay, what should I do today? But I know I should be running.
That's awesome. I feel like a lot of what we do um, is very similar. So you mentioned you run this High Rocks. It's called High Rocks OC Run Club. Um,
Correct.
how much? Or so you do speed work primarily on that Tuesday? You said Tuesday nights or Tuesday evenings. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how
Yeah.
much running? So say someone is in OC, because I'm also now based in OC. I moved down from NorCal, from San Jose originally. Um, I started a run club there
Mm-hmm.
long ago, and then like through Spartan Racing, probably you had a unofficial run club as well. People running together, training for Spartan, and now we call it Run Club. So mine is
Yeah.
called JB Fit Run Crew. Yours is called High Rocks OC Run Club. But the nice thing about these run clubs is we offer them generally for free for the community to join. Um, and then there are some out there that do donation based offerings. Some are paid, some have like scaled offerings, free to paid or subscriptions. If someone was interested to
Mm-hmm.
to join your High Rocks OC Run Club, how would they get started?
Yeah. So I created a separate Instagram account for that. So, just to announce like where we're at, where to park, kind of any news updates with High Rocks in general. So we have people training for, different cities. But we have a Telegram chat group, kind of like Group Me or WhatsApp. So that's where I'll put, you know, if they're serious, they'll join the chat. They could see the workouts. I post it typically the day before or the Sunday night or the day before. If someone's looking for a partner, selling race tickets, discounts or anything like freebies that we get from sponsors or companies. So I'll put all that information there. Any news like, hey, like we're going to be, in Phoenix or Vegas or whatever it is. Then they could meet up, it's like, hey, like we're from, Run Club, so it's something more social. So like right now we have like a new t-shirt design. So I'll put that information there. So we do donation based. I always thought that majority of the run clubs here are free. So with the popularity, I think people are going to be like, oh, why is this run club, charging, so I kind of go back and forth, with it. We are a little bit more specialized, more intimate group, versus some of the local clubs here. They're pulling in, I don't know, 50, 100 people a night or per run. So, but this is more specific for people, training for, I got a bunch of people training for High Rocks Vegas right now. So, and the programming is tailored per event. So if Vegas is coming up, the training block is specified or specialized for that. Anaheim's going to be coming up, like let's say in December. We'll do, like a training block for that. We're going to build throughout the summer, just build mileage, kind of get them used to, a lot of them, it's their first time. So it's like understanding how to transition from station to run to station. So all that compromise running, teaching them, speed work, all that good stuff. So that's kind of what it is. People always underestimate it or think like, oh, why are you different than going to this run club, right? So actually on Tuesdays there's another run club there. So we're kind of like, if you're training for road marathons, road half marathons, you're over there. If you're training for high rocks, you're over here.
Oh, okay. I love that. The specificity is there, right? So, um, yeah, it's similar.
Hmm.
So that's interesting because my run club is very similar. So we have athletes that are, so I still have my San Jose run club. So that's the NorCal like branch, right? Or sister. And then I'm down here
Hmm.
in SoCal now building it up. And a lot of the athletes that joined the one I started here, initially came to me saying, the way I kind of offered it was free. It was on Sunday mornings, 6 a.m. Like I try to challenge people to wake up earlier. So they sleep earlier. So they improve their sleep. They improve
Hmm.
their habits. They live healthier, more productive, more um, uh, impactful lives, right? And so teaching them to start early and, work their body, work their mind, work their grit, their resilience, all that stuff that I got from being a Spartan coach, I applied in the run club. And so, um,
I like that.
very similar to, yeah, and very similar to what you've done with this High Rocks OC Run Club. You take the principles, stuff and I'm guessing you are High Rocks certified, right? Level one. Um, or are
Yeah.
you in some way? Okay. So, um, and so definitely that there's principles, there's structure, there's intent, there's purpose behind what you're doing with the run club, right? I didn't want to just start a run club just to be
Okay.
social is one thing, but then the other thing is it has to have purpose behind it. And so the people that joined
Hmm.
me, they said, "Hey, I'm training for High Rocks Phoenix," or at the time High Rocks Anaheim. When I started it down here and up in NorCal, they're training for health. They're training for, oh, I've never ran before. What's this? What's this speed work about? What's this? What's this part like? You know,
Yeah.
protocol about? So just getting them to realize like, hey, there's more
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
running than just jumping on a treadmill, right? And so it's fun to be able to
Yeah.
share like knowledge and pay it forward and help influence them to get into different parts of what's out there, Spartan race, anything OCR, hybrid, um high rocks, deca obviously, and deadly dozen. I wanted to dig into something that
Yeah.
was very, very eye-catching for me. So I've shared this before. I've competed on Ninja Warrior. I was on season 11 2019, but I
Okay.
did
Yeah.
it caught my eye that you
Okay.
did a show called Wipeout, which is something I'm a huge fan of. Um, and I'm assuming Wipeout is no longer around. Is that right? Or maybe it's still around, but could you share with the audience like what that whole process was like? How did you even get involved in Wipeout? Like, yeah, could you share that, please?
Yeah. 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 So Wipeout, it was under a different network originally, and then they got bought out by TBS recently. I think that was like 2022 or 2023. And then at that time, I had an athlete on the Hardkour Performance team, Pamela Price. So she's very involved in the media scene. She works with LETF. I forget what it stands for, but in terms of like publications, working with actors, actresses. So very involved in like, TV, media, and all that good stuff. So she did American Ninja Warrior, and then she got reached out to do Wipeout. But this season that we were on, they were looking for teams, not uh, individuals. So she was looking for a partner, and then she kind of offered it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, let's give it a shot. I think it would be great exposure, great experience, all that good stuff." So we we auditioned as or we got casted as boulder buddies, like rock climbers. And then we're both she's half Filipino, I'm full Filipino. So we're the boulder buddies, and she was sponsored by Boba Time during that time. So Boulder buddies that liked boba. So and being like one of the few Asian teams, so that's how we got casted, because they were like, we already have a personal trainer, we already have coaches, we already have runners, so they liked us, so they just wanted a different story, another script that they wanted to use. So yeah, it's a different ball game. It's a different industry, like it's very scripted. It's very not what I expected, not knowing anything from the TV or show business scene. So, but overall, it was a great experience. It was high COVID time when we were filming. So even every time we got on set, they were doing COVID testing. Everything was segregated. Like we were all the contestants were put in a warehouse. We couldn't move. We couldn't touch anything. We were all like, this is your designated area. If you need to use a restroom, let us know. If you need any food, anything, there will be someone to like get it for you.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it was an interesting experience doing it during that COVID time. And then we actually, so there was three stages, or three was it rounds. We made it to only the second round, and then one of the teams tested positive for COVID, so we were the runner-up team to make it to the final round.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that was interesting. So we got a call back, and then when we got to the final round, on the last obstacle, my ankle got caught in one of the uh it's like two moving parts as I was falling, and then it snapped in two places on on
Oh,
that on that last obstacle.
oh
So
no.
yeah, so that happened. Um yeah, I had to swim out of the water, and then my partner Pam, she drove me to the hospital that night. It's like they couldn't do
Oh,
anything. They were like, we can't drive you, we can't take you. But and then it was interesting how they kind of covered up the story. So we were the last team. Sorry, we were the team that went first in that last round. I got hurt. The team that we're going head to head with, they weren't told anything. They were just told to like finish, do the best you can. And then when it aired, it just said that we ran out of time, and then the other team won. So
oh,
it was
wow.
interesting how they spun or covered up the incident. Yeah. Then actually our season two, in the day that we recorded, a team, there was someone that passed away. So there was a lot of, like, I could understand why, you know, Wipeout was, off air for a little bit. It would like get bought out. So it made sense. A lot of people were getting hurt. People were, getting the wind knocked out of them. People were getting, you know, fainting, breaking bones, getting hurt. So these are majority of these people aren't athletes. They're just like regular people. Maybe they just go to the gym here and there, but they're not like professional athletes. And then they're getting hit hard by these big machines falling, 20, 30 feet above water. And then they're trying to keep going, like just keep doing it. Like one of the rounds was like a 40-minute AMRAP. Like you just kept going for 40 minutes just to like get footage. So you're just getting like knocked over and over, swimming to the start, and then doing it again, like trying to get through. So that was the part that I was like, this is very eye opening. It's not just like a one time go. Like this is tiring. Even for us, like we were the ones like, running. We were doing all, the training still, and it's like you can't really prep for it. Like how do you get hit by this big old machine and then falling down, in a pool and then just do it again.
Oh man, I didn't realize
So
the level of beatdown that you guys were taking through that, recording process. That's insane. Um, so you're
yeah,
saying after you
and Pam,
competed it, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
my partner, she got multiple concussions, so she was really banged up too, like, you know, mentally. She was getting like headaches, like hard time sleeping. Um, yeah, it was just bad. It was really bad.
Hey, lesson learned. So takeaways,
Yeah,
be mindful of what you're going to get yourself involved in, even though it looks, quite popular on TV, because it might not be what it seems, right? Is that fair to say?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sorry you hurt your ankle in that race, and your partner Pam got multiple concussions. That's hopefully you guys are not feeling the repercussions from competing on that show. I'm assuming your
No,
ankle's better.
it's better. Yeah, I think it was kind of like what you said earlier. It's things happen for a reason. Like that was a time when I realized, like, and it was during COVID. I was like, if I can't physically work, what do I do with my business? So it kind of made me re-strategize. Like, okay, I could do online training. I could do, other things. I could coach remotely. Because for a while I had to get surgery. I was in a boot. I had crutches, and then even at that time, like I still had to coach. I was like limping around with a boot, crutches, but I still had to do all that still. So it just made me be more cautious, be more conscious of how can I, still make money, even if I'm not physically able to do these things. So yeah, it was a lesson learned, good experience. I had no regrets at all, you know, whether we won or not, still great exposure, and it was a good experience. Like no regrets at all.
That's amazing. Yeah, I remember clearly COVID times. I just want to refer back to that is being a trainer coach, I got laid off let's see, June 2020. So obviously COVID hit March 2020. So it shut down like every coach, trainer, fitness, whatever, down like hard. And a lot of people that I know ended up switching careers or having to leave fitness altogether and try to
Hmm.
navigate their way back to some sense of like normalcy, right? Trying to find their way back to make a living and survive. Um, and I
Yeah.
myself, I got laid off, and that's what started my venture into. I guess I could say I started independently first before I got into corporate, a corporate gym, style of business, and I gave them 3 years of my life, basically 6 days a week, almost 7 days a week, 5 a.m. to about 8 p.m. at night. And when I got
Yeah.
laid off, I was like, oh, I see what I was. I was a number. And even though I was one of the, top performing coaches on the staff, and I was one of the lead coaches, like it was very disheartening for me and almost like made me switch careers, because I came from engineering, I got into fitness, and then I was like, oh shit, where do I go from here? Because I don't know if I want to go back into that, especially if I can't coach people in person. So, you know, um, that journey was tough for me, and that's what led to me launching Joe Bala Fitness, or JB Fit for short. So when you started, when you were in this, COVID times, you mentioned you got into online coaching, remote coaching. Were you one of the coaches out there in the trenches? Like, even though you had this injury, and that's funny you say that because I had a back injury that I sustained doing after a 5K run. I decided, oh, I'm gonna do as many um, burpee to target at a local school. because all we could do was access what was outside. So I hurt my low back. I aggravated my QL, and I couldn't stand up. And so I still had to coach people, and that was like painful to do. So trying to teach people how to squat, but I couldn't really squat or I couldn't hinge. Um, so you being in COVID times, what kind of what learnings or takeaways did you find and discover for yourself as a coach trainer trying to survive and make ends meet? And were you coaching outside like me or anyone else that was trying to survive?
Yeah. I mean, before we continue, I took off my headphones. Yeah.
Oh, you're
I
good.
got a notification
Yeah.
that it stopped or something. Oh, it's still good? Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Just wanted to check.
Yeah.
Yeah, during COVID, during injury, um, yeah, I just like kind of like had a realization like, man, if I can't physically do the things that I'm coaching or teaching, it's like, how do I translate that to clients, to new members, to athletes? So I just had to get creative. I would have people do demos for me. I just, to me, like, I just had to be more detailed, had to be more specific, whether that was writing the specific workouts or the movements, or verbalizing all of these things, because I wasn't able to you know stand on 2 feet. I couldn't run, I couldn't do anything really. So I was only able to do like single leg exercise or upper body movements. So yeah, I just got creative, but I also realized I didn't like coaching online. So I was doing like Instagram live workouts, I was doing Zoom workouts, and I did not like it. So then I was just trying to figure out, okay, I love people, I love community, I love being, at the gyms, I love hosting, doing all those things. So it was just like a realization of I could do more than just coach people. It's collaborating, it's hosting events, it's you know social media. I was doing like more like reels, videos, digital flyers, doing more apparel. So it was just different avenues I was trying to think of versus just the coaching aspect. And I think, some coaches kill it online, in person. They have a strong clientele, strong following, but I don't think all coaches are like that. So I think there's always a way to, you know, support or have a secondary income on top of your coaching. So I'm always all about that. I'm blessed with the people that I work with, the gyms that I work with. They're open to those ideas as well. And I think that's why I gravitate to some of these places, or some of these like gym owners, or people like you as well. That we're doing all these things. Some of these things are, it's not necessarily, paid activities, but this could, you know, attract a new follower, a new potential client, a new, it's just other revenues or other channels that we could get more exposure. Like you said, you're new here from up north. You're building your community, rebuilding your community. So I mean, like, kudos to you for doing all that. Like that's tough. Starting fresh. So yeah, I think COVID just made a lot of people realize, like, shit, if things go south, like, how do we put food on the table?
100%. I appreciate you, um, acknowledging that for, the thing that you just mentioned, restarting. I'm literally restarting, rebuilding. I moved down to OC in,
Yeah,
was that April of 2025. It's now almost February now, right? So coming up on a year
yeah,
and still rebuilding. It takes time. And those coaches out there, the young ones, coaches, trainers, don't be afraid to restart ever. You might get comfortable, being comfortable, but honestly, like, it's better to challenge yourself to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where you find growth. That's where you see change. That's where you can discover things about yourself that maybe you didn't know were even there, or maybe build a network, a new person in your network, so like Justin here. And I appreciate you sharing that. Um, I want to dig into this other area that you've been, you know, these other ventures, because I have a whole lot of respect for what you're doing, and I'm starting to, you know, not become afraid of partnering. You know, I love community as well. Community is huge. It's all about that. Um, you know, Run Club is one of the ways I do it. Spartan Race, High Rocks, Deca, CrossFit, all the above. But then digging into partnering and ventures with other brands, other businesses. I know, you know, looking at your website, you expanded HK or Hardkour Performance to now, or have HK Nutrition. I'm not sure if you're still doing that, but you also partner or involved with Kangen Water. I think Junk was another one. Could you kind of expand on how you utilize those, you know, other avenues to build, you know, passive income? Because I saw there was a reel, you were on a stage, and I remember commenting on something that I saw that you posted where you were like talking to the audience. I was like, damn, that's legit. Like I was like, I have mad respect for what you're doing. And so can you share like your journey into like venturing out of fitness, or it's related in a sense, right? But like can you kind of share that with the audience, please?
Yeah. Um, so I'll start off with partnering or working with other brands and companies. Um, so Hardkour Performance, I never wanted a brick and mortar, so I wanted to stay mobile. Like that was the whole business model. I kind of based it off like the food truck industry. I was kind of like in that boom where a truck would pop up. They would be like, "Hey, I'll be in Tustin, you know, Monday, Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. Just show up." They'll put a post, they'll put a tweet, and then people would show up. And that was kind of like that business model that I wanted. So early on, I would just like be like, "Hey, I'm at this park, I'm at this gym, this time, be there, you know, show up, you know, just come as you are." And that's kind of like how I wanted to set up my business model. It's still like that. Like I'm just popping up at different areas, right? And so I'm contracted by different gyms. I'm coaching at like different cities. So I've always wanted that. I never wanted to just like be in one place. So with that, you know, there's obviously pros and cons. So pros, like I don't have overhead. I'm able to work at different places, meet new people. The cons is members want out like a headquarters, a place to meet, you know, put their stuff. They do all that. They need that second home, that home gym type feel. So those were that was the struggle that I've always had, but I've made it work where, hey, I have a following. I have this group of people that will follow me wherever I go. And then I was able to pitch that to brands. So I'm like, hey, I have this group of athletes that needs support. They need fuel, they need gear, they need whatever it is. Or like, hey, we like your product. We want to promote you guys. Can you hook it up with headbands or whatever it is? So I think nowadays companies have that budget to, you know, give product for in exchange for marketing. So I think I was always trying to do that, you know, get the name out there. I'm like, I have this person that's going to podium at Spartan, or this person going to do well at this trail race or this high rocks. And then they see it, you know, we were getting a lot of podiums. We show it to the brand, the company or whatever. And then they're like, okay, like this is great. It's great marketing. You know, what they were able to hook up a few athletes with some product and they got good coverage, good marketing. So I was just doing that for, you know, big companies, big, small, local companies. And I just love doing that. You know, I love trying new products, trying new things. I always wanted, the best gear. 2XU was one of our biggest sponsors during that time. The compressions, their running gear was top tier. It's not cheap. A lot of the good brands nowadays, they aren't cheap. So I always wanted like the best supplements, the best nutrition. What's the best thing out there to give the athlete or myself, the client, kind of like the best, overall experience. Because it's not just a training. They got to recover right. They got to sleep right. They got to eat right. Their gear has to be great too. So shoes, like we were working out with a bunch of shoe companies, working with different deals. Like I always aimed high. I was hitting up, like Solomon, Brooks, Ultras, during that time. And then 2XU luckily saw some of my posts and they're like, hey, like we'll give you a budget for the year, use it for you and your athletes. So it was just like, you just needed one yes. And then I was like, okay, I could do this. I was just like shooting my shot at different companies. And, some people say yes, some people say no. And it's like, all right, just move on to the next. And sometimes it's in seasons, people are like, hey, like we want to try you guys out for 6 months. And then you're like, okay, cool. That was great partnership. Who else could take care of us? So just going with, the times, what works for a team, so, and then in terms of Kangen Water, we did work with a lot of supplement companies. So I wanted to separate the performance side, the coaching side, the fitness, and then all like the nutrition side, nutrition, hydration. So I wanted to create a separate page for that. I've been a global distributor for Enagic since 2019. So what was that? 6 years now. So big believer in hydration. I saw a lot of people, including myself, side stitches, cramps, all these things. Recovery wasn't the greatest. Drinking a lot of water, but still not hydrated. They're still cramping. What's going on? So I was actually approached by one of my athletes, and he was like, try this water, super skeptical at first. It took him about, I don't know, I would say 2 months for me to finally try the water. He was just bringing these 1 gallon bags for me each time. Finally looked into it, did my own research, and then I was sold. I noticed the difference right away. I typically drink a glass of water every night, and before going to bed, felt the bloating, and then I tested it with Kangen water, didn't feel the bloating. It kind of just goes through your system so fast that you're like peeing, more often.
Wow.
But the company's legit. The company's legit. It's been 51 years. And then the guy who brought me on, he was like, you're already doing like the marketing, the sales for these other companies to sell protein shakes for 10% commission for whatever it is. So it's basically comparing like low ticket to high ticket sales. So one big company that I think it was last year or 2 years ago, I think I sold, I would say anywhere from like 600 to 800 units of, like the victory grips.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The hand grips for CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
So we sold a lot of those. And then our commission was like change, like to be selling so many units for a company, and then and we only got paid out at the end of the year. We got paid out once. So after that, I was kind of like, man, this is kind of crazy. You're doing like sales or marketing for a company, and you only got paid out once. That was insane. And then for Enagic, you make a sale, you're getting paid out 7 to 10 days after you make that sale.
Wow.
So with I'm selling 1 unit but I'm getting, a decent size check. It's about 56% of whatever you sell. So compared to other companies, t-shirts, protein shakes at 10%, well, you're making $5 to $10 per sale, versus I can make anywhere from $350 to like $2,000 per sale. It was a no-brainer for me. So he just put it in a way where you're already promoting products. You're already promoting things that you like, that you use on a day-to-day basis. So he was like, if you like the water, you drink it. Your clients, your following is going to do what you do. They're going to see you, of course there's going to be pushback. There's going to be doubters, but if they try it, they do their research, they see the science and all that, it's going to pay off. So I don't do hard sales for it. I kind of just promote it casually. Like, this is the water I use. This is the water I recommend. It's a legit company. If you like it, I'll give you samples. If you don't, it's all good. So I don't try to push it down anyone's throat. But I've been blessed with my team now for Enagic. They recognize me to teach some of these things, like my strategies, how I promote it to my following, to my clientele, how do I promote it to people at gyms. So yeah, I was able to talk on stage, I think it was last year, to about 1,000 people, and just explaining like my story, how I got involved, how I help people. They're changing their lifestyle just by switching their water. They're detoxing, they're better hydration, inflammation's going down, their skin conditions, whatever it is. So it's actually just knowing the product, what the potential customer is dealing with, and just trying to bridge the gap. So I don't think of it as sales. It's just education, marketing, So, but yeah, it's I in terms of coaching, like I'm also coaching in like the business side of it as well. So I think that's my future plan, is to kind of go into that direction.
That's a good segue. I did, we kind of shared an outline of questions I wanted to kind of dig into with you. I know just reading your bio,
Yeah.
you attended Cal State Fullerton. Actually, my daughter, that's another conversation we might have had, that DECA thing, DECA Strong at Idea Fit, was my daughter attending Cal State Fullerton. I was like, oh, my daughter's gonna attend there. That was like, she's in third year now. I was like, I never thought we would end up moving down to OC, but it made so much sense for us to also follow suit with our daughter living down here now. And it just made a lot of sense. So you studied
Okay.
entrepreneurship and you studied human resource management. So I can see how you take
Mhm.
all that business minded approach background of what you're doing, and it's very, very powerful to see. And I commend you. I give you kudos for what you're doing, in the space. You also mentioned on your website 3 Fs: fitness, fashion, and food. Um, is that something that you
Yeah.
still carry with you today? And how you approach hardcore and what you're doing in all these different branches, avenues.
Yeah, for sure. So fitness was always a big F. I think that was, hardcore performance, my lifestyle, you know, training for things. I like to lead by example. I practice what I preach. Like I'm not gonna prescribe these workouts if I don't do it myself. So I think that was one of the big Fs. Food. I don't know if people, or if you knew about this. I had a foodie Instagram. I was doing like food features. I was taking photos of restaurants, pop up, dessert, whatever it is, like popular foods. Yeah, I would just get reached out to kind of feature these businesses, try their food out, and then not talk about it. It was really just photo and video. I didn't put my face on it at all. I think it was just something like I did for fun. So it was my camera eats first, and the slogan was just feed your camera. So I think this was ahead of its time during my college years. Um, it was, yeah, before like that whole, I think, yeah, even influencers like these foodie Instagrams started popping up. Like we were just taking photos, sharing it on our stories, and people would just like reach out, like, hey, like where is that? What is, um, but during that time, I was also starting Hardkour Performance. So there was kind of like this backlash of like, hey, you get to eat all these crazy desserts, yet you're promoting fitness. So I kind of started to back off on that end, or I would only promote or show like the healthier the healthier foods or the healthier food spots. And then now I have one of my buddies taking over that Instagram account, which is crazy now because we're still getting reached out to a bunch of restaurants and yeah, food places that want to get featured still. After shoot, I think it's like 8 years now. I think so. I think there's something there in terms of the food industry. Yeah, and then
Always going to be big.
fashion. Before I started, you know, yeah, I think the food, like that whole social media influencer stuff is huge. No matter what industry it is, food, fitness, fashion, I think it's there. Like people could make money for sure. So, and then lastly, the third F, like always been into fashion. I came from the streetwear industry, so I was doing that for a few years. So I get a lot of my inspiration in terms of the apparel that I produce, with hardcore or whatever it is, the run club. It is kind of in that space or in that um, where I came from. So I still have connections, in terms of getting the garments. I've been using the same designer from 10 years ago. One of my good buddies, he works and designs for a lot of big companies now. So been blessed to have him on my side. So, but he gets like the vision, my style, what I like. So he's like, okay, send me an inspo, show me like some samples, tell me like what you want to do. I'll mock it up and then we'll go from there. But yeah, he just gets it.
That's amazing. I love that. 3 Fs, guys. Everyone that's watching, following. 3 Fs. Big deal. Because that's
Three.
huge. Like the each space is very, very unique, very, very powerful, and very, very much correlated with one another, right? You can't train unless treat your body, or you can't perform, you can't unless you treat your body right through fitness. You can't move well unless you feed your body well, you fuel your body well. And then you gotta look good. You gotta look right out there. And yeah, I appreciate and I give you kudos for your branding. It's very, very powerful. And like I said, when I first kind of met you
Thank you,
at
bro.
DecaFit NorCal, it's like, oh, I love the orange. Like that's very unique. His Justin's brand, it has orange in the. I always think about that too, because mine is like, black, red, and then silver or gray, or white. And that's kind of the reason it's like that is because the red, it kind of represents, when I decide to come out of the shadows, and then black is like I'm a ninja. So that's where that comes from. But
I like that. Yeah.
yeah, so I wanna be respectful of your time. So I wanna wrap up your interview here. One of these final questions I usually ask my uh uh interviewees is, something about legacy. So if you were to think about it, I know it's going to kind of put you on the spot unless you wrote something or prepared something. I think about this every day because I'm 47 now. My daughter's third year college. I'm thinking about her future, my wife and I's future. We're very, very close to, or we're sort of at that empty nester stage right now. because she's almost about to graduate and go off on her own. But like, just thinking about what you've done to this point, like and then what you plan to do moving forward. What legacy do you want to leave behind for everyone to remember you by?
Yeah, so there's a quote that I like to live by, which is aspire to inspire before you expire. So I do think about that a lot, and I think working with people, being in the health and wellness space, I think it's really, as cliche as it sounds, it's how many people can we help, you know, how many people can remember the impact that we've made in their life, no matter how small or big, whether that's, Coach Justin helped me lose 5 pounds. He helped me, you know, change the way I train. He got me out of the couch. He got me to do my first Spartan race. Any of those things, like just being remembered. I think about, people who pass away, and, people are sad for one day, and then it's kind of like they're forgotten. So kind of having being remembered in people's minds, like you impacted them in some shape or form, in some capacity, I think is what I'm trying to do. Like I love just meeting people, being exposed to so many people at different gyms, different cities, different, industries, and just trying to kind of leave that, you know, influence on them. Like, hey, like Justin did this. He told me about this. He helped me out doing this. He challenged me to do this. So I think that's just a huge thing for me is, um, you know, I'm an only child, so I'm always thinking like, okay, well, what's next? And, in the future, I'm 35 now, so, thinking about that, the literal legacy, right? So, um, yeah, just trying to leave a footprint. Like I think about like today's my last day. How will people remember me? And I've had a few close calls, like Wipeout. You know, even my partner Pam was like, "Is he gonna get up from the water?" Or like had a few kind of life-threatening instances, and I always think about like, if today was my last day, how can I leave an impact in the world and with my family, with my close circle, with people that I'm coaching. So I think that's just like a big thing for me, just leaving that footprint for people.
That's powerful. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, brother. I love that footprint. Like, think about that, people. As you're watching this episode, you're listening. Like, what footprint you want to leave? How impactful do you want to be? I think about that constantly myself. When I left engineering, it was because I didn't feel like I had purpose, and I didn't feel like I was really living to my full potential. And so that's why I
Yeah,
entered the fitness space, because I found joy doing it. And I also found community and a way to kind of challenge myself even more and grow and be impactful. So the young trainers out there, young coaches, um, take away a lot of these, pointers from Coach Justin here. He's left you a lot of gems. So don't be afraid to like be inspired by it. Connect with him, connect with me, connect with anyone in the fitness community, especially these coaches. Justin is Filipino. I'm Filipino. That's a huge thing for me. Like, we're like kind of I would say minority in the fitness space. I think just kind of looking at the whole scene. So it's very, very powerful that we connect as brothers, in that sense. And so thank you for being on this episode. So I generally wrap up these episodes with some quick fire questions. Are you ready for these? All you got to do is answer short. You can say a one word answer, or you can take like a short sentence. Okay, you ready?
shoot, I'm not ready, but okay, let's go.
That's the whole point. I didn't send these to you because I want to keep you on your toes, okay? So this is a fun way for people to learn about you, to see how you react under pressure, under stress, okay? All right. So for Coach Justin, What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing Coach Justin does when he wakes up?
Man, snooze all my alarms. Oh man,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
just a lot of alarms. Yeah, so yeah, I gotta snooze all of them. It's like every 5 minute increments, and then gotta drink your water, brush your teeth, and then the coffee. Coffee is big before heading out that door.
That's awesome. I love that. I used to snooze. I don't snooze anymore. That's something I've learned to not do. I actually wake up like on the dot, like either 4 a.m. or 4:05. So it just happens naturally. So I used to snooze like you. I'd have multiple
Nice.
alarms. But yeah, coffee, water, that's the
That's
way I
me.
start. Yeah, that's awesome. Um,
Yep.
let's see. What is Coach Justin's go-to power breakfast once you got all that coffee, water in your system? What's your go-to power breakfast?
Ooh, power breakfast. I'm like a try to keep it simple. Bagel, bagel, cream cheese, eggs, banana, um, Greek yogurt. Those are kind of like my go-tos. I try to keep it simple for myself. Um, but typically it's like a bagel egg type of deal.
Love that. Simple. That's key, guys. If you want to perform like Coach Justin and do what his team does, bagel, eggs, coffee. Um, so you already mentioned you drink coffee, you drink obviously Kangen water. Um, if you had a go-to drink, if you had
Gotta
to
get the Kangen
identify
one.
it, okay, there it is. So he just answered it. So his go-to drink is Kangen water. Awesome. So if you had to
Oh,
share, who is
yeah.
your, if you had to share who is your superhero and why, who would that be? And then if you were to become your own superhero, what would your superpower be?
Oh man. So what was the first question? Sorry, got cut off.
If you had if you had to identify or say who is your superhero, who would that be and why?
Oh man, who's my superhero? I think I'd choose Superman. Superman would be my superhero. Just sometimes I resonate with him. Trying to do it all, be strong, be fast. Um, but I think what everyone has like their own kryptonite. Like we all have our off days or we get sick. Like we're not we're not superhuman. So
Oh, I hear you. I hear you, Justin.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh,
I switched
okay.
over to the headphones.
Okay, sweet. Sorry about that. I don't know what
No, it's
happened.
all good.
Okay.
All good.
So you were you were you were sharing about what was that last question? Oh,
I think it was the superhero one, but
I
I don't know if
forgot.
I got
Yeah,
the question right.
yeah. Yeah, you can. Oh, I think is you pretty much answered it. I think the last piece was just if you were to create, be your own superhero, and what superpower would you have?
Oh man, that's tough. I think I'd still be Superman. Yeah, just
Okay.
super fly around, super strength, super fast. Trying to save the world, trying to help people. I think that
Yeah.
yeah, that's the way to go.
Okay. I love that. I respect that. Superman is one of my top characters that I identify with, and also flying is something I want to be able to do someday. So maybe I'll invent something, come up with a product and sell it.
There you
Like
go.
become more entrepreneurial. have that entrepreneurial mindset. So last question, you ready for this?
Let's do it.
How many burpees can Coach Justin do in 1 minute if you went all
Oh
out?
man, I don't even know. I think I tested this a while ago. I don't even remember. I don't know.
Or
Maybe
the other way I can put it is, have you ever done the Spartan burpee test? You know what the Spartan burpee
I don't
test
think I
is?
have. No.
So being a Spartan coach, usually we coach our clients on this. Anyone that joins our programs, it's a 5 minute burpee test, like
Okay.
max effort, as many as possible. So that's another way you can think of it. But if you've done one
Okay.
minute, let's go with that. So let's see. Do you remember what that number would be, or just kind of
No.
seeing where you're at today versus before?
Yeah, I don't even know. Now I'm curious. Like, I want to test it out.
All right. So
I'll
there's
record
the
it and then
takeaway.
yeah, I'll test it out and then send it over.
Okay, so there you go. So Coach Justin, he's gonna share that on his Instagram. Let's call
Yeah.
him out, and then I'll do the same once
Okay.
he tags me, and let's see if we can start a challenge with amongst the community. How many burpees can everyone fit in a minute? And let's see who tops this challenge. That's
Okay.
a fun way to end it there. Um, Coach Justin, thank you, brother, for being on my podcast. I appreciate you. I definitely look forward to connecting and collaborating with you. We have something coming up with Oscar
Yep.
Moreno. He was on my podcast before,
I saw that.
related to High Rocks. So definitely will be excited to meet you there in person as well, and then meet the rest of the community. Me being the newbie to SoCal, so yeah, I'm excited for that. So yeah. So to end the podcast, how can people find you? How can they follow you? Where would they do that, or how would they do that?
Yeah, Instagram is probably the best way. J_Nukes, Nukes. We have our Hardcore Performance Instagram as well, and then the High Rocks OC Run Club. I manage all the accounts, so if you reach out, I'll be the one responding. So those are the main ways to reach out to me. Yeah, people could come out to one of my classes at any of the gyms that I'm coaching at. They could reach out, for the schedule and the locations.
Love that. I appreciate you sharing all that information. I'll see you at High Rocks. I don't even know what it's called. The thing that Oscar's doing.
Oh,
But
the
yeah, I'll see you
simulation.
there. Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be the newbie walking around with my head cut off, but I'll learn
No,
quick. And
you're good. It's a good time. Oscar's great people. He built a great community out in the valley. So, but I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. Love to chat and talk more. But let's get that challenge and then let's do something for this year. Let's collaborate into something.
100%. All right. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you being on. We're
All right,
ending
Joe.
there.
We'll see
All
you
right. Take care.
later, brother.
Later.